Good day, friends. Oh, me? I've just decided to revel in personal choice. You see, even though it's 95 degrees outside, I've still decided to look my best and present to you my challenge of playing Bioshock on Survivor difficulty. This is about personal responsibility, growth, picking yourself up by the bootstraps to drag yourself down to rapture, where there are no rules or regulations. A libertarian's dream. No poor people parasites to come and take all of your hard-earned money. They should have thought about their finances before they became poor. And of course, things are going completely to plan, and it's a true utopia. I really do love this game. Look, I've got the same tattoo as, I don't know if you can see that. Can you even see it? It's weird. It's weird at that angle. You can see it really well when holding a shotgun. I've only held a shotgun once in my life because I'm a horrible American, apparently. Now, I've only played this game on normal difficulty, and I haven't played it in a couple years. I will be playing this on the hardest difficulty, Survivor, and regretting my decision the whole way through.
I immediately regret this decision.
We open on an airplane, already not doing so well. We confront my greatest fear as the plane that we are on crashes in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Arguably better than the great void that is the Pacific, but still, I have a very well-researched and rational fear of the ocean, and nobody can tell me that I'm wrong. What luck, though? There's a lighthouse. I'm not sure if I should feel any safer about this, considering there probably shouldn't be a lighthouse in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, but beggars can't be choosers, so in I go. No gods or kings, only man. A good thought, but like most good thoughts, gets twisted and obscured until it is unrecognizable. You'll see what I mean in a minute. Greeting us in the bathysphere, which is apparently a thing that was around in the 1960s, is Andrew Ryan. He explains that he doesn't like big government, and I get that too. It would be so much better if we just left private businesses in charge of everything.
Excuse me, is this Sarcasm 101?
No, it's Lamar's class.
We drift through Rapture in an iconic scene.
A city where the artist would not fear the censor, where the scientist would not be bound by petty morality, where the great would not be constrained by the small. And with the sweat of your brow, Rapture can become your city as well.
Let's get over there. And be quick about it. The splicers are coming. You gotta be kidding. How do you know what's the girl? We know about the girl by now. That means we've got company.
Coming up the tube, we see a lad getting absolutely gutted by some deformed lady.
Don't hurt me. Just let me go. My God.
Very Hills Have Eyes looking. She attempts to get to us in the bathysphere, but is unable. Then we get our radio to communicate with Atlas, who is helping us get somewhere. We'll get the wrench after Atlas chases the splicer away. Oh yeah, these people are called splicers. I'll explain what they are in just a bit. I encounter my first enemy and gain an intimate understanding of what survival difficulty is going to be like in this game.
Yeah, come on, get up! What's the matter with you? I'm just kidding around!
I finally managed to kill this guy and get the plasmid in the room. Now, plasmids are things that give you superpowers, but they're like a drug though. I think you can get addicted to them, and if you do too much of them, you wind up like the splicers. If you want a good video about the lore, I can link to somebody who does a much better job. That's not really what we're here for. We're here for my pain. A couple of guys try to loot my body after I pass out from the plasmids, but they're chased off by a little sister and a big daddy. This creepy duo is going to be important for us later. After rushing quickly through a flooding tunnel, we learn about the 1-2 punch.
Alexa, give
Now, on normal difficulty, this would result in an immediate death, but here the 1-2 punch is more of a 1, 2, 3, 4 punch. Someone learns the hard way that elevator maintenance is not something to skimp on. And we take our elevator while Atlas gives us the task of saving his family. I'm a family man, so I decide to go assist him. This lady is standing over a bassinet that has a gun in it, treating it like a child, like a true American. Through the bathrooms, you get a little primer on the little sisters and big daddies that I mentioned before.
Careful now. Would you kindly lower that weapon for a minute? You think that's a child down there? Don't be fooled. She's a little sister now. Somebody went and turned a sweet baby girl into a monster. Those little sisters, they carry Adam, the genetic material that keeps the wheels of Rapture turning. Everybody wants it, everybody needs it.
We also see how aggressive Daddy can be.
Daddy, chill.
Luckily, these things won't become aggressive unless we attack, something I'm not too keen on doing, but will have to later. It's at this point I start realizing how quickly I go through my powers and ammo, and how difficult it is to replenish them. I've played this game a lot, but again, my typical strategies weren't going to work now. Some things still worked as intended, like me zapping the splicers as they drop into the water, and dealing with the stragglers to save ammo. Atlas says that Ryan has found us, so now we have to run to medical in order to get to Atlas and his family.
So tell me, friend, which one of the bitches sent you? The KGB Wolf or the CIA Jackal? Here's the news. Rapture isn't some sunken ship for you to plunder. And Andrew Ryan isn't a giddy socialite who can be slapped around by government muscle. And with that, farewell, or до свидания, Jackal.
Arriving at the medical pavilion, I hack this bot, remembering quickly how awful this hacking system is. What is this? What is the fluid that is being transferred through the pipes? Why is it the factor that enables me to hack? I don't get it. The bot is helpful as I take on splicers in the area and do my best to collect as much loot as I can. After pulling the switch, we beat up this lady and get the machine gun. After hitting the override, or whatever it is, all of the splicers converge on our location. This goes terribly, but I'm revived and return with a vengeance and a Tommy gun. I find a way to cheese the system by hiding in this hallway with my bot and letting the splicers come to me. This was often effective and mitigated the amount of damage that I took. After this battle, I need to get to Steinman's key, and Steinman seems to have gone a bit off his rocker, as noted by the blood writing. I'm sure to hack everything in the area, including this cheeky little turret, so that I don't have to expend ammo to deal with the enemies. In this difficulty, it just means I expend less ammo. The turrets are typically destroyed. I don't have any more Eve, the stuff that makes my plasmids work, so these next splicers are difficult. They take a ton of damage, move around constantly, and as I said, they destroy my turrets. We do have resurrection technology, so death is just a minor inconvenience to us. The Vitive Chamber is kind of far, but it's a small price to pay. We see someone very interested in getting into the crematorium, and they are provided with a front row seat to the process. These new explosive throwing splicers take more damage and are really quite annoying. After a while, I'm reduced to my wrench and only my wrench. No ammo, no money, and no Eve. I continue throwing myself at this room, hoping that with every resurrection, I'm not also losing a piece of my soul. Until I see results and manage to enter the crematorium. We hack this security camera and head upstairs to get the incinerate plasmid. Using this, we can handle the splicers that are trying to break into the room. With this new plasmid, we can enter this frozen room, and after being freaked out by the lights going out and a jump scare, we sneak up on this woman in front of the coffin and get snuck up on by another woman behind a coffin and a turret, which I hack for no reason. Using the doorway for cover, I try to clear the splicers outside of this room, but abandon that idea fairly quickly to start searching around on the lower floors. Melting this ice and taking out this doctor, we find out that I have no more ammo. Luckily, there's a shotgun here waiting for me, and I take out this group of splicers that attacks with relative ease. We get the telekinesis from the dentist's office, which we'll need in just a bit. And I just thought of this. Why are they using telekinesis in a dentist's office? That's kind of terrifying. Instead of trying to fight, I run away. Cowardice prevails. We stumble upon an explosive splicer blocking our way and use their grenades to remove the blockage from the door with our telekinesis plasmid. Entering the surgery wing, we hack this camera and this turret to try and help us in the upcoming battle. Dr. Steinman body shames us before attacking.
An intruder! He is ugly! Ugly! Ugly!
I backtrack to the turret and the camera to try and help with the battle, and this actually proves to be rather effective. Once Steinman is dead, we get his key and try to return, with another tunnel collapse, which is great to hear about when you're at the bottom of the ocean. We see a Big Daddy getting killed, and we meet Dr. Tannenbaum.
Stay away from her, or it is you who will be shot next!
Hearing her out, I make the decision to save the little sisters. I usually do this in my playthroughs, as I think it actually nets you more Adam in the long run. I could be wrong, but anyway, we save the little sister.
Thank you.
Too introverted for anyone.
Thank you for helping me.
Back through the medical pavilion, we encounter our first Big Daddy fight, which I try my best to cheese, drawing it into turret fire and getting him caught in this hallway somehow. He's able to get me a few times, but I discover the ultimate cheese for this battle. This little counter here. I'm able to jump around it and fairly successfully avoid the Big Daddy while safely damaging it. It isn't always perfect, but it's much better than trying to outrun it to lay down damage. I try to finish him off with my wrench, which is not a great idea, but I get a better idea and buy some ammo. Once the daddy is dead and the sister is saved, I get back to the medical pavilion and flip the switch to escape through the bathysphere. Arriving at Neptune's bounty, we make our way to Fontaine Fisheries, getting some upgrades and hacking the rocket turret in the process. Here we meet Peaches, who seems to have a perfectly reasonable grasp on reality. When a new spider splicer shows up, he just says,
"My friend, you are fucked."
Of course, after this, he gifts us with a grenade launcher, something that would have been helpful in the previous fight, but better late than never, I guess. Peaches wants us to take pictures of the type of splicer that just tried to kill us. We're supposed to trust this man, and I mean...
He seems a decent enough sort.
I've trusted worse. We battle our way through waves of splicers to the camera. I hack this rocket turret to help with the Big Daddy later and break the lock to a new area. This camera seems too high for me to hack, so I opt to sneak around it and hack the second camera. I break this other lock and rush around to deal with the various turrets, somewhat successfully, I might add. This does a pretty good job of dealing with any splicers in the area. We get the camera and our first picture of a spider splicer. Peaches says we need 2 more in order to progress. After getting ambushed by some splicers, I have a new path open to me. I get the pictures that I need down this hallway, getting this guy as quickly as I can so that I don't have to chase him deeper into that area. And I do the same on the other end of the hall. After fighting a few splicers, I decide it's time to pick a fight with a Big Daddy. I make liberal use of the grenade launcher to eliminate the daddy. I save the girl and get a message from Tannenbaum saying she'll send me a gift. This leaves me with 300 Adam to get upgrades. I thought this was a lot, but it turns out I should have been killing more daddies. Anyway, I head back to our friend Peaches and give him the pictures. He thanks us by taking all of our guns away. Insert political commentary here. I still have my plasmids and my wrench, which is a huge oversight on Peaches' part. Upon entering, we realize that Peaches decided to betray us.
Curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal.
I destroy the camera and try to hack the bots that show up. Unfortunately, there's a ton of them, so it's hard for me to keep up, and I wind up just whacking the bots to death. I'm able to use the environment sometimes, but the bane of my existence is the turret that remains just out of reach. I'm able to find enough medkits to make sure that I survive this fight, and after enough whittling his health down, we wrench Peach to death. Going downstairs, we upgrade our weapon and hurry off to the smuggler's hideout after Atlas totally jinxes us.
You got it! Should be smooth sailing from here.
After getting to the hideout, I have horrific flashbacks of my loving family, reminding me that I have to save Atlas's loving family. Ryan warns us not to press the button, so obviously we have to press the button.
Yay, buttons!
I don't know.
Atlas runs to his family in the bathysphere. Little does he know that there are splicers descending upon him. If only we weren't a silent protagonist, maybe we could have warned him. We run off, handedly defeating the splicers that try to get in our way. Unfortunately, so Atlas's family is dead, and he vows vengeance.
We'll find the bastard. We'll find him, and we'll tear his heart out.
Entering Arcadia, we see it's actually a pretty lush forest. Not sure if trees can be grown underwater. I guess the light could penetrate the ocean, but would that give them enough to live on? I'm sure that any issues with this could be waved away with genetic magic, because I should probably suspend my disbelief when playing a game that allows me to shoot fire and lightning. We see ghosts as we run through this area. Is this explained? I've always missed it. I assume that it was because of plasmid use, psychogenic effects. But it seems like we're seeing actual events in the past. So it wouldn't be just another effect of the plasmids, right? I don't know. We encounter another type of splicer that teleports away from us, even though I'm pretty sure I got his health to 0. I noticed there's a significant uptick in difficulty with the enemies here. It does feel like they're taking more ammo to put down, something I don't think I ever noticed when I played on lesser difficulties. I manage not to die, and convince a Big Daddy to help me out with this splicer. Now, here we see a huge flaw in Ryan's logic, and I don't think he knows how silly he sounds. He says,
On the surface, I once bought a forest. The parasites claimed that the land belonged to God and demanded that I establish a public park there. Why? So the rebel could stand slack-jawed under the canopy and pretend that it was paradise earned. When Congress moved to nationalize my forest, I burnt it to the ground.
He just burnt it to the ground, which is stupid, petty, and he probably lost a lot of money doing it. He then says,
God did not plant the seeds of this Arcadia. I did.
Which, okay, God, if you believe in that kind of thing, would have made the seeds. No? Even if we just say the trees develop naturally, that still means that on the whole, Ryan didn't do shit. This isn't even a chicken or the egg argument, it's trees. Trees came first. Even then, we see later that he didn't even do the work to develop Arcadia. Someone else did. He's stupid. It's stupid. And petty. So he decides to poison the trees, thus poisoning the air for the entirety of Rapture. That's right, he dooms the entire city.
You stuck-up precious little bitch. Let me tell you something.
Oh boy, here we go.
Langford, the lady who actually did the work to make Arcadia, tells us to get her a rose.
Could you find a sample of Rosa Gallica for me?
I don't think of her that way, but fine. We make our way to the grotto, removing the rabble along the way. I grab the rose, but immediately get pinned down in this room. Luckily, blowing up the turret next to me puts me into the Vita chamber, so I don't have to climb my way back out. Before going back, I decide to take on the Big Daddy here. A bad idea at first, but the good thing about being immortal is you can just try again.
I didn't just survive a wreck. I wasn't just blown up yesterday. I have been stabbed, shot, poisoned.
After using the tree for cover and defeating the daddy, we save the girl. We give the rose to Langford despite my desire not to lead her on, and Ryan ruins everything and kills her with what I can only assume are his caviar farts. Before she dies, she gives us a code, and I wonder what could have been. In the safe, we find ingredients for the Lazarus vector, or a MacGuffin that will save the trees. All of the turrets and cameras in the room outside are hostile now, making dealing with the splicers just a bit inconvenient. I hack everything in here so I have an easier time with the battle that occurs here later. Atlas tells us that we should go to the farmer's market and try to find what we need, which is distilled water, chlorophyll, and honeybee spit.
That's right, sweetheart. Honeybee spit.
Upon entering the farmer's market, I take a few pictures for my scrapbook and make sure that I hack this rocket and this camera. I make my way out and around to the beehive and winery. I trigger a camera that I was not paying attention for and run to the bot shutdown so I can hack the bots to work for me. As we enter the winery, Atlas asks some heavy-hitting questions.
Why do they wear those masks? Maybe there's a part of them that remembers how they used to be, how they used to look, and they're ashamed.
I start dealing with the splicers and getting distilled water for the vector. After collecting all the water that we need, it's time to return back to the beehive. Again, it really feels like the splicers are super difficult right now. I'm wondering if that's because at this point I wasn't investing a whole bunch of time into my camera, but by the end of the game I had a lot of research done and it still didn't feel like it gave me much of an edge. Perhaps I was doing it wrong. As we rock up to the beehives, you'll see I have no health kits and only one Eve Hypo left. It's entirely likely that I will die here, and I do the moment I hit the smoke button, and...
Oh, no, not the bees! Not the bees!
This can be a tough level because once you hit the button, you're locked in the room. You can't stay in the smoke for too long because the bees will get you. You have to run around and search the beehives for ones that have the enzyme. Some of these beehives are harder to get to than others, and it's easy to forget which ones you've already been to. Oh, and splicers spawn every single time you hit the button. After several tries, I'm able to collect all of the enzymes and get killed, teleporting me through the locked door and out to safety. I try to make the vector, but realize that I'm missing one chlorophyll. I'm pretty sure if I find a Houdini splicer that they'll have one. And in the caves of Arcadia, we'll be able to find one and take them out. I don't know why something that teleports and shoots fire is holding what plants use for food, but whatever. Luckily, I just find the vial of the stuff on a trunk and I don't have to actually fight this guy, so that's good. After making the vector, I disperse it. Why is it that I keep having to make solutions to put onto plants?
I made it rain, I made it rain on them boys.
This time, we're saving the plants though, not killing them. And of course, the vector is going to take an egregious amount of time, otherwise we wouldn't have a video game. This is why I made sure to hack the camera and turrets earlier. I run to the door of the office to seal it up, and the splicers begin their attack. I do my best to set up for the coming battle with proximity mines, which of course sets off the Big Daddy in this room. After a few waves of splicers, I decide to actually attack the Big Daddy in the hopes that some splicers would get caught in the crossfire. After several deaths, I'm successful and rescue the little sister. And after a lengthy battle with the splicers, in which my death counter keeps climbing, the vector is spread and I'm able to continue with my mission, which is whatever Atlas tells me to, I guess. At this point, I'm just trying to get out of here, which I guess means I have to kill Ryan. I neglect saving the other little sisters in this area, which is probably a bad idea. Here we are in Fort Frolic. We lose contact with Atlas and realize that if you break glass to get first aid kits, drones will come in and shoot you, not dissimilar to the American healthcare system. After hacking the bots, I try to leave, but the bathysphere sinks into the abyss. We're introduced, kind of, to Sander Cohn, Rapture's eccentric artist.
That's better. Atlas Ryan. Atlas Ryan. Da 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 da. Time-wise, you could get something decent on the radio. The artist has a duty to seduce the ear and delight the spirit. So say goodbye to those two blowhards, and hello to an evening with Sander Cohen.
After battling a few splicers, we appear to impress Cohen, allowing us to continue into Fort Frolic. This is probably my favorite area of the game, and I'm sure I'm not alone. I would hang out here, if crazed drug addicts weren't around every corner and the city wasn't sinking. Upon entering the theater lobby, we hack the camera and head up the elevator. This poor pianist is not playing up to Cohen's standards, so Cohen gives him a level-headed and constructive critique. We take a picture of Cohen's victim, and after escaping the theater, we return the photo to his masterpiece. He rewards us with the crossbow and a mission to kill 3 people that I guess he has beef with. I let these splicers beat each other up to make my life easier and lure them into my hacked camera for easy dispatch. We go back into the dressing rooms and through what seems to be a pretty nice bar area. Down to the cigar storage, we find a weapon upgrade station, and my bot is on fire, threatening the cigars. I get killed and escape to the entrance by the bathysphere. I head into Poseidon Plaza. Now, this is my idea of an ideal climate. My house is kept at 65 degrees at all times. I will not leave my house if it is above 80 degrees. So this is just great. We immediately get captured and frozen, placed in some kind of provocative position by this bird furry. After escaping, I don't notice the red circle is on this guy, and he gets the jump on me. After dying once, I return, I stop playing nice, and pull out the grenade launcher. Once we snap the picture, we return and place it in Cohen's masterpiece. I pick a fight with a Big Daddy accidentally as my electric blast is triggered by a splicer, which is not a good idea, and after failing, I return to try to complete Cohen's hit list. We go through this mall area. Remember shopping malls? Now we just get all of our stuff from a consolidated oligarchy, the true future that Andrew Ryan wants. I realize the power of the crossbow fairly quickly and proceed to utilize a combination of wrench and crossbow. I get to the casino and get immediately attacked, similar to any experience I've had in Atlantic City. Giving up on trying my luck, I try to get lucky at Eve's Garden. I see more ghosts as I look through the sadly abandoned strip club, which is not the future that Andrew Ryan wants. I get cold feet and leave the strip club prematurely and am immediately shot at by turrets, similar to any experience I've had at a strip club. I hack both turrets, even though I probably should have let one get destroyed. I head into the record store, which looks similar to Sam Goody the last time I was there. After fighting splicers and defeating my mark, I take the picture, ensuring that I get his good side. I fight off more splicers and return to the masterpiece, triggering another lengthy splicer battle.
What's that look? You don't like it, do you? Judged by you? By anyone? Screw you! Screw all you fucking doubters! Here's what I say to all of you!
I probably should have collected the pictures and return once all of them are complete, but I'm a slave to the little yellow arrow at the top of my screen. I must follow the arrow. At some point, I work up the nerve to return to the strip club. That's right, folks. I'm scared to talk to women even if I'm paying them. Oh, not me, Jack, the character in the game that I'm playing. Not me. I witnessed more ghosts and learned that Ryan got a stripper pregnant, and she had done something with the child. Ryan doesn't like this.
What are you doing? No, don't, please. I love you. Don't, please, no.
And kills her. When we exit her room, we find the final man on our list. After chasing him all the way back to the lobby of Fort Frolic and into the theater, we kill him and place his photo on the masterpiece. And here comes the man himself. What grace, what style, what ego, what kind of Joker makeup is on this guy? I don't see anyone. Is he pumping in applause? He gifts us with a new plasmid and a way out of Fort Frolic. I should have killed Sander Cohen here to get the items in his muse box. Unfortunately, I forgot that was how you were supposed to unlock the box and thought that I hadn't performed some requirement to get it. I'm just mentioning this because I do try my best not to read guides or anything while I'm doing this. cameras. I continue on to Hephaestus without saving the little sisters on this level. This turned out to be a terrible oversight, but I thought I would barely have enough items at the end of the fight to take with me to the next area. Hephaestus appears to be where power and control of the city is located. As with most areas of this game, the level design and atmosphere here is perfect. I managed to do pretty well against the first round of splicers and hack the turret in hopes that it might make my life easier. Spoiler alert, it doesn't really. You see, all through this run, I was under the impression that hacking would be my saving grace. It turned out that it would be, but only for certain hacks. It actually would have been better if I destroyed some turrets and cameras and hacked others. Those of you that have played this before know the hacking in this game is absolute trash. This splicer glitches out, and I'm able to take care of her pretty easily because of this. After hacking another camera, we move deeper into the facility. Ryan has hung up some decorations for us, which we mercilessly loot. These are other trespassers to Rapture, apparently, and this proves how psychotic Andrew Ryan is, even without the use of plasmids. This was the first level that really started to give me a significant amount of trouble. And what I'm determining as I write this script and watch this gameplay back is that I really should have killed more daddies. You see, I started dying multiple times in this level, but again, we're immortal, so death is just a minor inconvenience.
Frozen, hung, electrocuted.
Either way, I try my best to be stealthy and utilize my environment, drawing enemies to my camera. I had very little ammo, no medkits, and no Eve. It seemed like my plasmids weren't working half as well as they did before. This is because I have to upgrade my plasmids, something that I would only be able to do with Adam. I was using my grenade launcher to take out most minor enemies, so even my guns were becoming less effective. Now, it's been a while since I played this game, and I remember most of the areas and events, but obviously not enough to know when there would be this difficulty spike. I'm not sure if I remember it, but even though I don't have ammo, I have immortality and a wrench. So, after several deaths, I eventually wind up sneaking around this guy to get to the Hephaestus core. After finally entering the core, I actually make a useful hacking call by getting this camera on my side. And back to wrenching. I upgrade my shotgun and make note of the Gatherer's Garden in case I actually am able to get some Adam. Once we get to this engine room thing, the lights go out, and this part I remember. So I light the splicers lying down on fire as retribution for trying to prank me. They kill me again and again, but I run back over and over again until I'm able to get out of this room. I make some purchases before getting surprised by this splicer. And after searching through this next area, we get an audio diary that gives us our next goal. After failing to hack this panel, I take out my frustration on the Big Daddy down here, hoping that I can cheese the game by jumping onto this ledge. It sort of works for a while, as it appears as though the daddy cannot find a path to me initially, so he plays a little peekaboo. Unfortunately, he's able to hit me even though I'm at a higher elevation. I fearlessly continue to attack the daddy as much as I can before he sends me back to the Vita chamber. With some scavenging, I'm able to get some more ammo, and we make it to the workshops. Upon going down the stairs, we hack the 2 turrets here and continue onward to this secret area where someone was building just the EMP bomb that we need. Convenient. What's inconvenient is I need 4 items from Big Daddies. There's 2 of them that are down already, so I'll have to take out 2 more in order to progress.
Quick maths.
I'll need to pick up some other items to build the bomb along the way, but they're not as difficult to obtain. After battling with some more splicers, wasting ammo, and failing at luring them to my hacked camera, I search around some areas that I don't think I've ever searched before in order to try and find some helpful items for my daddy hunt. This is minorly successful, but after relentless waves of splicers, I lose pretty much any advantage that I had managed to eke out for myself. We find the first daddy fairly easily, and because I've chipped away at their health earlier, I'm able to deal with it in a pretty funny way. Mind you, the amount of deaths that occurred before success makes this move far less impressive. After putting some ingredients back in the bomb, because the yellow arrow tells me to, I take out this splicer and hack some vending machines in the hopes that I can stack up some health and ammo. I did have the foresight to hack these turrets, which helped in dealing with the splicers in front of the office that we have to get to. Of course, once opening, we see essentially a wall of death. The traps do actually kill me, as I have terrible jumping accuracy. Or ducking accuracy. This does happen twice. There's some useful things in the office, including a weapon upgrade station and nitroglycerin for the EMP bomb. A turret appears in the office, and I have the foresight not to hack it this time and just run away. I head back through to an area where I had seen a fallen Big Daddy that I loot for the part that I need. That just leaves one more part and one daddy that has to die. After dying once, I return to the core area where I attempt and fail to take out the Big Daddy here. Despite my attempt to cheese these things and deal with the guy in a way that I don't take much damage, it turns out the best strategy that I can come up with is shooting him, heading up to the ledge with the Vita Chamber, and getting off as many shots as I can before jumping back down. This keeps him far away from me, and every time that I revive, I can easily return to the fight. Eventually, though, even this tactic doesn't bear fruit. I resort to taking down as many splicers as I can to try to get some items. I realize that I should have been paying for armor-piercing rounds for the Big Daddies. This enables me to defeat one pretty handedly, and we save the little sister, spurring Tannenbaum to send me more at him via a teddy bear. After making some upgrades to myself, I head back to construct the bomb. As I do so, I realize there's an exploit here. One I should have been using the whole time. It's the
secret tunnel through the mountain. Secret tunnel. Yeah.
Of course, I'm still able to mess this up and die a couple of times, one of which the daddy and I trade deaths, but after a few passes I prevail and save the little sister. We construct the EMP bomb and run past the splicers in order to place it. At this point I was pretty much done with dying over and over again, so I changed my tactic to just run away to the geothermal control. Cowardice, again, prevails. And after dispatching the splicers in here, we head to the next area. This part I remember, and I'm sure to hack everything possible in order to make this ordeal easier. I reload my weapons and set up as many traps as I can. Because I have the chameleon perk equipped, I can just stand here and turn the release valve without taking any aggression from the encroaching splicers. My traps and hacked turrets combined with this make this battle unfairly easy. Down the elevator and up another elevator, we place the device on the core, overloading and destroying it. The locks on Ryan's office door are open now, so we run there, wrenching as much as I can along the way. After dying another time, I'm sure to hack the bots that this guy is controlling so that I can deal with him and head to Ryan's office unimpeded. Once we get to Rapture Central Control, real inventive name there, Ryan, we're accosted by him.
You are my greatest disappointment. Does your master hear me? Atlas, you can kill me, but you will never have my city. My strength is not in steel and fire. That is what the parasites will never understand. A season for all things. A time to live and a time to die. A time to build and a time to destroy. From now, my child, there is one final thing to discuss.
That's ominous. And now he set the whole core to self-destruct, showing Ryan's final selfish act on the city he claims to love. When we pass through this vent, we see this very eerie board. Would you kindly has been something that Atlas has said every time he needs us to do something for him. From the very first time that we entered into the city, that's something that he said. Weird. Finally, we confront the egomaniac himself, Andrew Ryan, playing some white guy white ball.
This is not, God, you know what this is? This is not an egg, this is white guy white ball.
What I thought was my egg was just a white guy white ball?
In the end, what separates a man from a slave? Money? Power? No. A man chooses. A slave obeys. You think you have memories. A farm. A family. An airplane, a crash, and
then this place. Was there really a family? Did that airplane crash? Or was it hijacked? Forced down by something less than a man, something bred to sleepwalk through life until they are activated by a simple phrase spoken by their kindly master. Was a man sent to kill, or a slave? Stop, would you kindly? Would you kindly? Powerful phrase. Familiar phrase.
Would you kindly? Would you kindly get this? Would you kindly find that? Would you kindly find that? Would you kindly find? Would you kindly get this? Would you kindly head to Ryan's office and kill the son of a bitch?
Sit, would you kindly? Stand, would you kindly? Run. Stop. Turn. A man chooses. A slave obeys. Kill! A man chooses! A slave obeys! Obey!
This speech is so iconic. So is this entire scene. But I have to ask. Ryan just said that he was a smart guy. So why would he allow us to kill him if he knew he could control us? Did he know that he was going to die anyway? Was he making a point? If we were just a mindless slave like he thinks, what would be the difference if he got away somehow? Again, I think that this just shows that Ryan is wealthy, not smart. And at the end, we bury his golf club into his forehead. We grab the genetic key and put it in the self-destruct override. We find out that Atlas isn't Atlas.
So I guess I owe you a new one. The name's Frank Fontaine.
No, his name is Fontaine, Rapture's boogeyman mafioso type. Us doing the override gives Fontaine control of Rapture now, instead of Ryan. Because of this, we're attacked by the bots and rushed by saved little sisters to safety. So what did we learn? Well, remember that baby that Andrew Ryan had with a stripper? Well, that's us. Jack, the main character. She basically sold the baby to Tannenbaum, Suchong, and Fontaine to be brainwashed and turned into a sort of super soldier to take Ryan down. Basically, it was a long con. My family, not real. Any memories I had, not real. As Tannenbaum says, we were created to be Fontaine's ticket out of Rapture. She has also managed to deprogram the Would You Kindly. We're led by a little sister out to a sewer-like area of Olympus Heights. After opening this door, our new area is revealed. Fontaine also initiates Code Yellow.
I just told your brain to tell your heart to stop beating. Not right off the bat, mind you. The heart's a stubborn muscle, but it ain't that stubborn.
Which apparently will stop my heart and slowly lowers my health. This makes this part of the game just awful.
How are you, big man?
It's awful. Everything has just been awful.
Now, for some reason, I head back, probably to try and find more things, but I get caught up in a very lengthy battle. But I'm able to find an auto hack tool that I use on a vending machine and make sure that I stock up on med kits. The yellow arrow beckons, and I must follow. We find Sander Cohen's digs and run into a young couple dancing to his masterpiece. Very cute. We're killed almost immediately, which is less cute. I check out this apartment because it seems like housing prices are going to be great down here. Anything is better than the real estate hellscape on the surface. The apartment owner returns, and apparently this place isn't for sale, and this isn't an open house. I hack as many things as possible and purchase an upgrade to try and make hacking easier. I deal with the splicers here and continue on to more cheeky splicers that are playing dead. I keep falling for it. I change my tactics and go get a Big Daddy to do my fighting for me as we head up to Mercury Suites. We fight our way through splicers and get to what I guess was a ritzy area of Rapture. Looks like it's seen better days. Just shows that under complete societal collapse, no one is really safe. I get to hacking again and use the Big Daddy to continue taking out the splicers for me. We're able to follow the yellow arrow to Suchong's flooded apartment to figure out where I'm supposed to go next. Up the stairs, I get caught on camera and continue getting absolutely bamboozled. Eventually, I'm able to destroy this camera and get into this apartment where I use my chameleon ability to avoid the splicers and sneak over to this guy, who's being really disrespectful to what we found out is Tannenbaum's home, apartment area. They've moved the medicine that I need to stop my heart from slowly stopping. Luckily, our Lord, the Yellow Arrow, will show us the way. Unfortunately, though, I don't know what the code to the elevator is. Maybe I missed it, but I wasn't going to actually figure it out right now. Apparently, it's in some recording. I didn't hear it. Anyway, it's 5744. Up the elevator, we enter into a quite tranquil Zen garden, with a turret hiding behind a rock. After getting caught on camera, I shut the bots down in order to take them with me on my excursion. I didn't realize that for these, if I fail to hack, the bot blows up. So I take a death and go right to the vital chamber in the same room. I destroy a splicer, saying some very sexist things.
Run like a little girl!
And I destroy the camera because I realized that hacking things all the time is having diminishing returns. As we enter Fontaine's abode, there's a large library and a stuffed polar bear. For those of you that don't know, polar bears are absolute nightmare fuel and are like the most dangerous bear in existence. It's telling that Fontaine, who sees himself as an apex predator, would have this in his library. Frank does say something interesting, though. He says,
"Give me a smart mark over a dumb one every time."
You see, that I can agree with depending on the person. Remember, friends, you don't have to just be book smart or street smart. You can be both. After carefully entering the room upstairs, I am still almost hit by the turret behind the bar. I know this area holds something that I need, so there's a likelihood that I'll be attacked by splicers after I get it. Knowing this, I hack the turret. This is the kind of selective hacking that I should have been doing the whole game. Searching upstairs, I find a plasmid and lot 192, which prevents us from being damaged more, but also prevents us from using the plasmids that we want. Every so often, the plasmid will randomly switch. It doesn't have to be one that I already have, making this an interesting challenge, to say the least. But I'm not slowly dying, so things are looking up. Tannenbaum tells me that we need to get to Suchong's apartment to find the remedy to lot 192. Right on cue, more splicers show up, so I retreat to the bar turret, but utterly fail to live. I try again, but abandon my murder spree as it doesn't really seem to be working. I avoid this guy and head right down the elevator back to Olympus Heights and out to Apollo Square. This seems to be a real ground zero of whatever happened in Rapture. There were roadblocks, armed men, guards killing civilians. So even unrestricted utopia erupts in chaos. Could it be that it's not the socioeconomic theory, but rather who's at the head of a system that's the real issue? Could it be that no economic system is really better than another? It just matters who wants to abuse it? No. It's the poor people. Anyway, I ask Daddy nicely to come with me to kill some people, which should make this next portion much easier. I got this plasmid a little while ago, and I'm just using it now. I'm the mascot for the Circus of Values. My hack turret does nothing, and somehow Daddy has turned against me. So all of my plans are going really well right now. I'm able to run away and hack the camera to assist with the splicers. I don't know if I mentioned this before. Big daddies do not trigger the cameras, ever, even if they're after me. After making my way through this square and hacking another camera, I find myself in a pretty rundown apartment. Looking back on it now, it seems like maybe this was the last holdout for people who weren't part of the Ryan or Fontaine crew, who weren't spliced out of their minds. We find nothing really useful, so we're gonna head upstairs. I try a strategy of freezing enemies and running away, which works pretty well considering this is a random plasmid. I find the other vial that I need and regain control of my plasmids. I get killed, but the Vita Chamber teleports me far closer to my new objective. After running through the area and taking out as many splicers as possible, I almost make it to the bathysphere before I'm killed again. At this point, I take my time, drawing splicers into my camera's sight to loot and attempting to steal some of the bots that are summoned. I'm pretty done with this level, so I avoid any more violence, or maybe just a little violence, and I get to the bathysphere. I go back at this point in an attempt to save some of the little sisters and increase my atom. It doesn't seem like I'm doing any damage to the splicers, so hopefully I'm able to find a way to increase my survival chances by righting the wrongs from earlier in my playthrough. Those wrongs? Leaving all those daddies alive. I take 2 out in Neptune's Bounty, doing my best to cheese both fights. First with trap bolts, then with this vent. Neither works perfectly, but it gets the job done. I get my teddy bear reward upgrade and then head off to Point Prometheus. We see that Fontaine has started using Atom and is now super strong and using plasmids. While we try to catch up to him, he evades us, breaking the lock on the door that we need to use to follow him. Of course, says Tannenbaum. All you have to do to progress is to become a big daddy. What? She says the only way to get through is to have a little sister get us through. Couldn't I just clear the area and she can send one of the non-possessed little sisters? Can they not open doors once I've rescued them? None of this matters, as even though nobody said, would you kindly, and we should no longer be brainwashed, we blindly follow these instructions. I find the boots upstairs after hacking this camera and this turret. Not 100% why the boots wound up at the library, but sure. I'm thumping around with my Big Daddy boots. And after dispatching the splicers here, I have to move on to complete my look. I entered this eerie lab area to get the pheromone, which apparently will make me smell terrible. And
then the little ones will be thrown to you like a bee to honey.
How you doing? All right. Should have a seat over in that chair, please.
Why am I doing this? Fontaine also mentions that he's going to
go over to Mother Goose's house, and I'm gonna take it apart, piece by piece, and brat by brat.
Gross. Once we get all the pheromones, it's time to find the suit and the voice modification. This process seems permanent. The last part really is a never-ending gauntlet of cameras, bots, turrets, and splicers. I finally get the notion that this is probably a good idea to run away from these things instead of attempting to fight them. I still die several times, but potentially less than I would have otherwise. It sort of becomes a loop. I go as far as I can, die, then try to get farther. Is it a fun gameplay loop? No. We wrench this guy to death and make ourselves a bot friend. I upgrade my grenade launcher in this room with the rocket turrets that I successfully hacked. You'll notice I'm not mentioning any safes. That's right, because I cannot stress this enough. Fuck the safes. I either don't have the right perks or I'm just awful at this hacking system. Most safes, for me, are a waste of time. I draw more and more splicers into where the rocket turrets are to kill them easily without expending ammo, and make just the most brilliant decision to try and fight the Big Daddy here, despite several hacked turrets and proximity mines. And the loop begins again, but this time it appears that the splicers and the Big Daddy are going at it, something that I allow and encourage. Still, I die multiple more times, and this was the first Vita Chamber that I felt really set me back. Maybe it's because I was sent there so many times, but who knows? I do something different because death has become boring for me.
And every morning I wake up without a scratch on me, not a dent in the fender. I am an immortal.
And hack this rocket turret to hopefully clear this area that I keep having to go through. back to optimized eugenics, gross, where I am actually able to make it to the voice modulator, which looks suspicious. Against my better judgment, I go ahead and make myself a baritone. Now, to go finally get the armor, something I probably should have gotten before trying to take on this guy. We enter the area hiding the armor, and I find all of these bots just sitting here. I hack 2 of them to come with me. They take care of the initial splicers for me as I explore the area. We find out that the boots were sent to the library because of a mishap. And if we hadn't found them already, I guess we'd have to go back? Suchong also says,
You become Big Daddy, it's a one-way street.
So, we complete the process without question and put on the Big Daddy suit and the helmet. Now, this part of the game I remember least fondly. I don't think I felt it was the worst part of playing on survival difficulty. We watch this battle unfold. And continue on with our little sister. Fontaine, again, presents himself as an absolute psychopath.
I really wound you up with that wife and child bit. Oh, me poor Moira. Me little baby Patrick.
And we set about dealing with the splicers. At this point in the game, we have to get 3 bodies that are laid out for our sister to harvest. You have to fend off the splicers that will arrive and attack her. With the help of a hacked camera, the first corpse isn't too difficult to get past, with me only getting killed once. My little sister, on the other hand, is not doing well and gets taken out by 1 more hit. I thought there would be some kind of fail condition if you lose the little sister, and I guess there is because you have to go and get a new one. I just thought it was going to be more significant. I zap and hack my way through bots and turrets for backup through to the next corpse. The splicers descend on us, and because of our hacking spree, we fare pretty well, not dying a single time through the waves of splicers. We're now in the area where the whale skeleton fell down. After some more hacking and fighting, we find ourselves without any ammo or Eve, so we lose the little sister again. I decide it's better to clear this place out and set up before coming back to get another sister. In doing so, I trigger this Big Daddy to burst through the wall and come find me. Now, they're immediately aggressive towards me, probably because I can call little sisters, but this puts me in a difficult predicament. Now I'll have splicers and a Big Daddy to contend with during this last corpse. It does seem as though the splicers and the Big Daddy wind up fighting each other, though, which helps whittle down the Daddy's health and gives me an opportunity to go wrenching. Even after all that, the Daddy refuses to go down and takes me out a few times before I'm finally victorious. Fontaine seems to be doing well and doesn't appear to have an addictive personality whatsoever.
But I need more. Oh, I want a slice. Just slice with.
This is the first time that I've actually ever maxed out the money that I can have. This happens right at the end of the game. Wonderful. I stock up on everything that we need and finally grab the needle from the little sister. I need this in order to take down Fontaine. Now, this is the part of the game that gets a lot of flack, and I understand why. We've never really had a boss battle up until this point, and it does feel out of place. But at the same time, I don't really know how else they would have ended the game. That being said, there isn't much to note about this battle. Sure, I died several times, and defeating the boss took a total of about an hour of gameplay, but it's just a matter of learning the phases of the fight and how to best deal with them. The first phase is the easiest. Fontaine has a fireball attack, after which he'll more often than not rush at you. As long as you keep moving in one direction, you'll be able to dodge the attacks and put damage down. I didn't have any issue with the first phase of the battle. After each phase, you have to stab Fontaine quickly before he's recharged. Otherwise, you'll have to start the phase again. The frosty portion of the fight is tougher because Fontaine's ranged attack is harder to dodge, and he starts the phase with an alarm going off. Because the destroyed bots are replaced in the duration of the alarm, I choose to just run around the arena until the alarm stops, avoiding Fontaine and the bot until it's just Fontaine, after which I employ a similar tactic to the first phase, putting down as much damage as I can while moving around. Throughout the fight, little sisters will keep throwing ammo my way, so I wasn't ever hurting for ammunition. Either way, I saved the grenade launcher for the last phase of the fight. Here he has his electric attacks and starts out with splicers instead of an alarm. This is worse because the splicers don't go away after a certain amount of time. I opted for the grenade launcher because it was possible to quickly take out the splicers and occasionally put damage down on Fontaine. But again, after the extra splicers are dealt with, you can pretty much utilize the same technique for each phase of the fight. Keep moving, putting damage down, and get to him to finish the job. Now, Fontaine's downfall is what most bad guys' downfalls are. They start monologuing.
I had you built. I sent you topside. I called you back, showed you what you was capable of. Even that life you thought you had, that was something I dreamed up and had tattooed inside your head. Now, if you don't call that family, I don't know what is. And now,
You sly dog! You got me monologuing!
The little sisters come to save us, stabbing Fontaine and ending the game. I got the good ending. I don't think that me losing all those little sisters towards the end did anything to affect my score. I saved all the little sisters I came across, so I guess that's the only stipulation. I think I've gotten the bad ending once, and I don't even think there's much of a benefit from harvesting over saving. I think in the end you get more Adam if you save them. Well, anyway, I die with the loving family that I never had, and the end. Or is it? Well, it is for Jack anyway. So what did I think of this game on its hardest difficulty? It's a mixed bag. I love the game and remember it fondly. I don't think anything with the game was the problem. I do think it was a skill issue. Bioshock is not as slick of a gameplay experience as some modern games. Only being able to choose between shooting or plasmids, one or the other, already manufactures a decent amount of difficulty. Downsides aiming is the click of a stick instead of a trigger button. Just little things that make the game already a bit more difficult than normal. Add in very tough enemies, a very weak main character, and I think less available ammunition. It felt that way. I do think this was a skill issue, though. I haven't played this game in at least 2 years. I've played it a few times, and I thought I'd have a handle on the gameplay. This was false. What would I do differently? I'd for sure do more camera research early. I'd do way less hacking and instead destroy some turrets and cameras. I'd focus on utilizing certain plasmids like telekinesis and hypnotize Big Daddy. And speaking of Big Daddies, I'd kill them all. I thought avoiding fighting the Big Daddies would save ammo for later battles. All it did was force me to expend more ammo and use more Eve and medkits. Now, please understand, I still have a full-time job. I'm still a father of a toddler, and my wife also has a full-time job. I'm also producing other videos and podcasts for other people and other friends. I'm tired. All the time. Typically, when I'm recording this gameplay, it's anytime I can possibly squeeze in. That's anytime from like 10 a.m. until the wee hours of the morning. So that might also be a reason why it was a skill issue and I wasn't playing at my best. So what's it like to play a survivor? I was laying awake in bed one night and I was thinking about how Neil deGrasse Tyson was talking about seatbelts and why you should wear a seatbelt even at low speeds.
Do you know how fast Usain Bolt was running when he set the world record?
No.
In the 100 meters? About 25 miles an hour. Okay?
Wow.
Maybe 24, something like that. All right. So ask him, Usain, please do this experiment. See that brick wall? Run as fast as you can face first into that wall. And then come back and tell me how that went. Okay? So he would break his face, probably die.
Unless they had a Vita chamber. Then you could conceivably throw yourself at the brick wall as many times as you wanted. I'm no physicist, but I think eventually that wall would break. That was my experience playing Bioshock on Survivor. You don't need to fear death when there are no consequences. So you keep throwing yourself at the wall until it breaks. That being said, I want to try this again. The trophy where you can't use a Vita chamber on survival mode sounds like an absolute nightmare. But maybe if I have a better handle on the game, I'll play better. I don't feel the same sense of accomplishment as I have had playing other games. But it's nice to know that even though I'll never be in the 1%, I am in the 2.7% that beat this game on Survivor. Do you want me to play this game on Survivor without using the Vita Chamber? Do you know why I died so much playing this game? Let me know in the comments. If you've made it this far, you obviously like what you see. So please hit that like button and subscribe, as I have many more videos coming. If you want to help me not to have to play games until the wee hours of the morning, consider signing up for Aliens in the Doghouse on Patreon. Your support goes a long way to helping us grow this channel and to all the other creators that I help along the way. We've got some bonus content on there, extended cuts, silly things, so definitely check all that out. And thank you so much for watching. Love you all.